Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well and your week got off to a decent start. If not, let's see if we can turn around today and have a little bit better today. So Psalm chapter 40. So in Psalm chapter 40, he's kind of excited. I mean, you can just tell he's feeling good. He's upbeat. What has likely happened is that something that that's been a burden on David's heart and a burden on his life, something he's been praying about, something he's been seeking the Lord about, God has finally answered, and he's really pretty excited about this. And I'm just going to read a few little verses and sentences out of this passage just to show you. He says, he's brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and he set my feet upon the rock, and he's established my steps. He's taken care of me. And then he says, he's put a new song in my mouth. Praise to our God. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust. Many, O Lord my God, are your wonderful works which you have done. My ears you have opened. Behold, I come. In the scroll of the book it is written for me. I delight to do your will, O my God. Your law is within my heart. I have proclaimed the good news of righteousness in the great assembly. I do not restrain my lips. O Lord, you yourself know. So you see, he's really excited and he's on top of the world, and he's just really busting with praise and worship and ready to serve the Lord. I did not read verse 1 intentionally because the key to this whole thing, the key to David's answered prayer, the key to what is coming out of his spirit after God has done this work in his life, I think, is from verse 1. He says, I waited patiently for the Lord. I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me, and he heard my cry. Waiting on God's hard sometimes, isn't it? When there's something that's really a burden in your heart, a burden on your soul, something that's just really weighing you down, and you're praying about that. And the problem is that the longer we have to wait, the more we think that God is rejecting our request. And it just may not be true. It just may be the fact that God is having to do a work. He's having to prepare the way. Jesus tells a little parable in Mark chapter 4, and he starts it in verse 26. And he says, the kingdom of God is like this. He said, a man goes out and he plants some seeds, but then he goes in the house and he sleeps, and he gets up the next day, and he sleeps and he gets up the next day. And he says, he really don't know what's going on underneath the ground, because it's what's happening underneath the ground that produces that fruit. And eventually he can see a little blade pop up, and it'll turn into a little head, and then it becomes a full grain, and then he can harvest and he can receive the fruit. And the whole point of that parable is, and he makes a point in here to say that the earth yields the crop by itself. Here's the deal. The answer to your prayer, only God can do, and only God can make it happen. But sometimes he's got to prepare some things to get everything to line up. And what we have to do is we just simply have to be patient. We have to wait upon the Lord. James says it like this in James 5, verse 7. He says, therefore be patient, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting patiently for it until it receives the early and the latter rain. Listen, we want the fruit of God in our lives, but we've got to be patient and we've got to be wait for it, because God is at work. God is at work accomplishing. God is at work making happen what needs to happen in your life. And you just need to trust in him, find your strength in him, and wait on him. And when he answers and you receive the answer to your prayer, you're going to be just full of the Spirit like David was. I think Isaiah said it like this in chapter 40, I think verse 31. He said, those that wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. We need to wait on God. Maybe you're in a waiting pattern today. I know it's hard, but just relax and trust him and wait upon him. Wait patiently for the Lord. He'll hear your cry and he'll deliver you. God bless you guys. Get out there in faith today. All right? God bless. Bye. Love you.